Now we can see the definitions of the cash book and the bank statement. I've already told you in the introduction that the cash book is the record of the bank account and the business is maintaining it. This is the business record of the bank account. And the bank statement is a document sent by the bank to the business which details their banking transaction, the details of the banking transactions. So the cash book of a business is the record of how much cash the business believes it has in the bank because it is their record regarding their bank account. A bank statement is sent by a bank to its clients itemizing the balance on the account at the beginning of the period. That means the opening balance. Receipts into the account, which means the upcomings within the account. Payments from the account, that means the transfers the business has made. And the balance at the end of the period, that means the closing balance. So why we are performing the bank reconciliation? I have already told you the bank reconciliation is the comparison between two records. The one is the business record, which is known as the cash book. So you can see this is the reconciliation of two documents. One is the cash book and the other is the bank statement. So you're going to compare these two documents because there may be unreconciled differences within that, and you need to reconcile those differences in order to have the ideal balance, same balance in both of the documents. So a bank reconciliation is a comparison between the bank balance recorded in the books of a business and the balance appearing on the bank statement. So you're basically comparing these two documents. A bank reconciliation compares the balance of cash in the business records to the balance held by the bank. That means comparing your balance with the balance of the bank, which is in the bank statement. Differences between the balance on the bank statement and the balance in the cash book will be the errors or the timing differences. I've already given you the example in the introduction. There are many more to come. So the two examples were the first one, the direct transfer you got in your bank account, you were not aware of it. That means it was shown in the bank statement but was not shown in your cash book. Then later when you realize that you got a transfer, you adjusted that thing within your cash book. The second example we took was related to a transfer, a deduction directly from your bank account. So it was deducted from your bank account and it was a direct debit facility, a service which you were taking from the bank. It was shown in the bank statement, but you were not aware that bank has already deducted it. Then when you realize that some balance has been deducted, you adjusted that in your cash book. Now, differences in the nature of the balance. This is one of the most important thing you need to know because in the question, the examiner is going to use the debit balance, the positive balance, the credit balance, the negative balance. There will be so many things. So remember that you will be doing the accounting according to your perspective, and the bank has entirely the different debit and credit thing. How we can understand that? So when you talk about the cash, we know cash is an asset. We know the cash is an asset. And we know the principle related to the asset that if asset is increasing, then the impact is shown as the debit. So for example, if cash is coming into the business, this is being shown as the debit. If the cash is going out of the business, then that is being shown as the credit. So that is the simple your double entry principle, that if there is a positive balance in your cash book, that means this is the debit balance, and debit balance means the favorable balance. Let's assume if I say, for example, in my cash book the balance is $5,000. So that simply means I have $5,000 in my bank account. If my cash book shows a balance which is negative, let's assume my cash book shows I have a negative balance of 5,000, then that means I owe this amount to the bank, and this is known as the bank overdraft, which we have already discussed when we were discussing the current liabilities. So when you have $5,000 and it's a negative balance, the negative balance is unfavorable balance, overdrawn balance, overdraft, and also known as the credit balance. So if you're having the debit balance, that means positive and favorable balance. Let's assume in my cash book there is 5,000, that this means I have $5,000 in my bank account. If it is a negative balance, that means this amount is owed to the bank. The bank will do the opposite accounting of that. So when you say debit balance in the cash book, it is the credit balance in the cash book, bank statement, sorry. So if you get a message, $5,000 has been credited to your bank account, then that means someone has deposited the money in your bank account. There is an inflow. So credit balance means the positive balance, and this is the favorable balance. And when there is a debit, for example, let's assume $2,000 has been debited from your account, that means it's a deduction. It's a withdrawal, or the bank has deducted any charges from it, or you have taken any service from the bank against which the bank has deducted the money. So when you have the debit balance, it is a negative balance, unfavorable, overdrawn, overdraft. So the credit balance is the positive balance. The debit balance is the negative balance. This is opposite to the cash book. Remember this for the questions. Positive balance in the cash book is the debit balance. Positive balance in the bank statement is the credit balance. Negative balance in the cash book is the credit balance. Negative balance in the bank statement is the debit balance. So this is something very important you should be aware of. Now we have terms you need to understand, and this will be discussed within your exam question, and you should know these are the terms uh, which are already discussed in the banking chapters if you have studied somewhere uh, in your studies. But no problem if you have not studied any banking term or banking terminologies. I will explain you what these terms are all about. First of all, you have the standing order payment. Both the standing order and the direct debit are the facilities which you take from the bank. Now let's assume you got an admission in a university, and your father, or for example your guardian, needs to make monthly payments to the university, and they go every month in the university in order to pay your fee, and they find it very difficult to take some time out to deposit the fee. One day they were in the university and they asked the university, don't you have a bank account? If you have a bank account, I will ask my bank to transfer monthly fee to your bank account, and this way there will be no responsibility to come here and deposit the cash. They say, why not? They gave your guardian a bank account number, and they said every month you can just pay your fee, and that's just intimate us by giving a message just showing us the transaction number, and we will check that your fee has been deposited. So once they gave you the account number, once they gave the account number to your guardian, they went to their bank account, and they went to their bank and said, this is the account number, and I want you every month to deduct a fixed amount from my account and pay it regularly for another 2 years in the university account. So what they will be doing is they will be debiting the money from your bank account, because I told you that when you say debit balance, it's a negative balance. So they will be debiting the money from your bank account, and they will be transferring it to the university account. That means crediting the university account. So debiting from your account every month and crediting in the university account. Okay, that's fine. Why we are studying the standing order payment? The reason for that is that this will create a difference between the cash book and the bank statement, and then you need to reconcile it. Let's assume your bank statement were having a balance of $10,000, and your monthly fee is $1,000. So $1,000 was deducted from your guardian account, and now the bank statement shows the balance of 9,000. Although the bank statement does not show in this way, it shows in the debit and credit format. But just to explain you why we are discussing the standing order payment, So the bank statement shows now the $9,000, but your cash book still has the $10,000 in it because you didn't adjust for this payment. Then once you realize that the money has been deducted from your bank account, then you will be deducting it from your cash book as well. And now you have the similar balance. So that means the standing order payment will be deducted directly from your bank account and it will create a difference from you with your cash book. Now you need to adjust it within your cash book as well in order to reconcile it. Similarly, the direct debit payments, both are the same, but when you want to make a fixed payment at regular intervals, you use the standing order service. And when you want to make payment to someone, but that is irregular intervals, fixed and variable amounts, then you use the service of the direct debit. Another difference is that in the standing order payment, the payment is being asked by the bank's customer. The bank's customer, that means the bank's client, will ask the bank to pay this certain amount to another account. In the direct debit facility, it will be the recipient who will ask the payment. Let me give you an example of that. For example, you want your bills, utility bills, to be paid by the bank directly, and you ask your service provider that whenever you want to take a payment against your service, just don't invoice me, directly send my invoice to the bank. And the bank will make you the payment. They will be deduct from my account and then they will transfer you the money in your account. So here it is the service provider who will ask the money every time they need the money, every time they have provided the service. So if you want to make the fixed payments at regular intervals, use the standing order service. If you want to make irregular payments with the variable amounts, use the direct debit. Both are actually the same. In both of the service, the money is deducted from your bank account and is being paid to the recipient. Then you have the bank charges. So the bank charges can be anything, for example, fees, charges related to your ATMs, related to your checkbooks, related to the online facility, related to the messages. It can be anything. So let's assume it always happens with me that I have taken many services through the bank, including ATMs, including online banking, including intimation in the form of the message. So the message service I'm taking from the bank, they deduct a monthly payment for that. So when they deduct the monthly payment, they will directly deduct it from my bank account. So the bank statement will reflect that payment. But I have not adjusted that payment yet within my cash book. So when I will realize by looking at the bank statement that the bank has deducted the payment, then I will deduct it from my cash book as well, and then it will be reconciled. Similarly, we have the direct credit when someone directly transfers into your bank account. I've already given you the example in the introduction that it will be displayed in your bank statement, but you are not aware of it yet. So when you realize that someone has transferred the payment in your bank account, you will be adjusting in your the cash book. Similarly, we have the dishonored check. Now, when someone gave you the check, let's assume a customer gave me the check of $1,000. I added that balance in my cash book, assuming that now I will take this check to the bank and then the bank will be clearing me the money. I will be having money in my bank account. So I was having $5,000 in my cash book. I got a check from a customer of $1,000, which I added. And now my cash book shows $6,000. I took that check to the bank and they said, there's no money in your customer account. The check was returned. Now, my bank statement shows 5,000. My cash book has 6,000 due to the 1,000 amount which I added earlier. Now what I need to do is deduct this 1,000 so that again my balance become 5,000. Bank interest. There are two types of that. Interest received when you have deposit accounts. Interest paid when you have taken the loans from the bank. So whatever interest received or paid, If you're receiving it, you will directly receive in your bank account. If you're paying it, bank will directly deduct from your bank account. So in both cases, it will be reflected within the bank statement, but the cash book does not contain that, and you need to adjust it when you realize that you received the money or you have paid the interest. Now we have another two important terms, which is the unpresented checks and outstanding lodgements. Unpresented checks are also known as outstanding checks. Outstanding lodgements are also known as uncredited lodgements, or you can say lodgements not yet cleared. And the unpresented checks, you can say checks not yet presented. So unpresented checks are the checks which you have given to your supplier, but the supplier have not yet presented those checks to the bank. Now, what is the impact on the bank reconciliation? So you gave the check to your supplier and you deducted the amount from your cash book. That the supplier will now take this check to the bank, and then the bank will also clear the check, and the amount will be deducted from the bank statement as well. But the supplier has not yet taken the check to the bank due to any reason, maybe busy, maybe another reason. So the amount is still shown in the bank statement, but you have deducted already from the cash book. Then you have the outstanding lodgements. You got a check from your customer. You added that thing in your cash book. You presented it to the bank for clearance, but the bank has not yet cleared it because they may take it 3 to 4 days. They are processing it, they are checking it, whatever is the reason. So your cash book contains that payment, but that is not reflected in your bank statement yet. So that will create a difference. So these are the terms you need to know in order to do the bank reconciliation. A standing order and a direct debit payment. The payment is deducted directly from your bank account, and now you need to adjust it in your cash book. Bank charges deducted from your bank statement. Now you need to adjust it in your cash book. Direct credit is the transfer directly into your bank account. Now you need to add it in your cash book. Dishonor check, you added that thing into your cash book, not cleared by the bank, so you need to remove it from your cash book. Interest received, directly received in your banks, so bank statement shows that, and you have not yet recorded in your cash book. Interest paid, directly deducted from your bank statement, you are supposed to deduct it from your cash book. Unpresented checks are the checks given to the supplier, so you have deducted the amount already from your cash book, but they did not take the checks yet to the bank, so your bank statement shows that amount, and now you need to adjust it when you have the bank reconciliation. How we'll do the bank reconciliation, it will be discussed in a while. Similarly, outstanding lodgement, you got the checks from your customer, you added that in your cash book, but it is not yet cleared by the bank, so your bank statement is showing that bank statement is not showing that amount yet. So these are the terms you need to understand.